Recently, I got all this footage of me growing up skateboarding, hours and hours worth from an old filmer friend of mine when I went to visit Columbia, South Carolina, my hometown. The amount of nostalgia that slapped me across the triceps was overwhelming, to say the least. It reminded me of a lot of pivotal moments that occurred in my life, and randomly, one of the hardest times in my life, which wasn't coming of skateboarding, trying my hardest to progress, doing all this stuff. It was actually the point at which I had achieved the dream that I had set out forth. Wow, what a pretentious sentence. You saw the title of this video, and it is true. Becoming a professional skateboarder was the most depressed I've ever been in my entire life. How is that humanly possible, and why? Well, I'll explain a little bit. It's pretty simple. The biggest thing is that was my biggest goal my entire life. I worked my ass off forever since I can remember. I've skated for more than half my life, and then when I became pro, I was only 27 years old, and I had basically finished. That was it. I had achieved life. Now what? Oscar Wilde said that there are two tragedies in life, getting what you want and not getting what you want. And at first I was like, that's dumb. And then I thought, that's not dumb. That's smart. Dumb, not smart. I'll say this, the biggest benefit to being a pro skateboarder is just the title alone. It's really easy to simplify what you do and what you are when you're like, oh, I'm a professional skateboarder, YouTuber, Netflix watcher. It's just easy to dissect. Much easier than when you're younger and coming up and you're like, oh, I am a skateboarder who has dedicated his entire life to riding my skateboard every single day with no real vision of how I'm going to make any money doing this or achieve anything. I just want to do this all day, every day. That's what I do. They're both just as cool as each other. One is just easier to explain to like normal society. The truth is, while my friends had dreams of being doctors or lawyers or astronauts, my only two things in my entire life that I ever wanted to be was a pirate. That was before I was 10 years old, and then when I was 10, it was a professional skateboarder. Those are the only two things. The only thing I ever remember asking my parents for ever in my entire life was a skateboard at the age of 10, and it was a great investment on their part, so boom. The vision that I had for myself wasn't a millionaire success story. I never saw like P-Rod and thought, that's what I want. I just saw skate videos, and I thought, dude, if I could just maybe get on welfare, go to California, work a part-time job, live in a van, and skate, and then work a minimum wage job, I'll be perfectly content. That was like my goal as a 11-year-old. I know, it sounds ridiculous, but it was something that I was willing to give up everything for, make any sacrifice necessary. I was very one-track mind, INTJ style of like, yo, whatever it takes, that's where I'm going. And I did it, and it took a lot of sacrifice. I mean, a lot. You know, I left my entire hometown, all my friends, all my family, everything I ever knew, which is fun, of course. That's part of the pirate thing, is like, you gotta go on the voyage. Went to California, did a lot of things I didn't like to do. I didn't like to, you know, socialize. I'm super introverted, but you had to play this networking game, and I did this whole thing, and the best part of it all was, of course, meeting up with Andy Schrock and the YouTubers and then seeing that side of skateboarding, and I was like, yo, this is where it is at. These dudes rule, and I know this sounds really silly, but Revive to me was like punk rock. I'm sorry. I was so used to a certain skate culture and thing in California, because California is popular. If you're a skateboarder, you're popular. I was so used to that when I saw Revive, I was like, dude, these guys are goofy, they're nerdy, this is totally stands out from the norm, and I knew that that's where my family was, and that's who I became pro for. But even becoming a YouTuber got some of my friends to not want to hang out with me, because they thought being associated with a YouTuber was gonna blacklist them from the skateboard industry. Spending time with Revive again is actually what reminded me of what skateboarding was more about. It was about hanging out with your friends and have fun and progress in skating, and ironically, we did have bigger platforms, so we could boast to the world what we were doing. But here's what I learned the most about going pro, and something that I think everyone should hear. The first time you learn a new trick, the first time you step on the board and go down a hill and you're like, oh my God, that felt amazing. The first time you watch a friend land a trick and you're like, that was incredible. The first time you go to a skate shop and you feel this little win, you feel like you're moving forward in a culture or learning something new, you've already won skateboarding. You've solved the whole skateboarding equation. Obviously, you can want more goals in skateboarding, but I have realized that the goals that you set for yourself that are 100% based on how, you know, society sees you, which is going pro. That really means nothing. It just means a company is willing to pay you because you can sell boards for their company, and there's marketing involved for that. It's not just skateboarding that sells yourself at the end of the day. The reason that the impact of being pro didn't swamp me with all these amazing emotions of success is because you feel that every day on your board. Like when I do learn new tricks, which I've learned thousands of tricks, every single one of those moments was like, yes, I'm moving forward, this is awesome. That's the same thing as going pro. But you feel like all of these wins and all this pain amounts to this huge picture at the end. Like this thing, it's like, if this is how good learning a trick feels, going pro is 4,000 times this. Completely inaccurate in life, in everything. And when you expect that feeling, when you expect to be swamped with so much emotion that you can fly to the Mars and back and feel like the whole world loves you all of a sudden, you're gonna be very depressed. It's going to bite you in the nostril, which is what it did for me, the left one specifically. I feel so bad because Sarah and I started dating like right when I went pro, and for the whole year, I was just not myself. Like I could be a little silly here and there, but when I wasn't with her, I was genuinely depressed. Like I would sit there and stare down and be like, I have no real goal now. Nothing sparks me the way that skating did, and I've solved that for myself, right? No. I had already known the answer the whole time, the way that most of you know the answer right now. The thrill you feel from skating, or the thrill you feel from any creative endeavor. I say creative specifically because I feel like it's like finding a new world within the world. That's what skating was for me, at least. And I feel like that's what art is for me now. That's what it is for a lot of people. Creative endeavors opens up the world. I don't think there's gonna be a much bigger payoff in the end. If you are doing something for that end result of being like, yeah, once I get signed, bro, and the world tells me that I'm awesome, that's when I'll really feel it. I don't think you're really in it. I think when something compels you so much that you just wake up excited just to do it, not to succeed in it, just to do it, that's when you've really found your calling. Luckily, it took the year to realize what skateboarding was to me, and when I took it back to the basics, and when I went outside and I was like, yo, I wanna learn a new trick. I wanna film a new trick. I wanna tell my friends, yo, I did this trick. What have you been up to? And then I wanna show it online and have the people watching out there, the Progressed Aliens, to be like, that's a cool trick. I can do this trick. Having a conversation, a community around this thing, and just talking about the nerdiness of skating and progressing in skating, that's what I love. Being pro really doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, it really is just a title. Being a skateboarder, that's the title that I hold dearly. Pro is just, a good way to clickbait too. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm uploading every Tuesday and Thursday. I am not out skateboarding as much right now because of the freezing cold weather in New York, but I'm trying. Any day it's not snowing, I'll be out there trying to create content for you. So if you aren't already subscribed, do it, man, or else I'll find you. Comment down below and let me know if there's anything about the story that relates to something that you've gone through in life, because of course, the more community, the better. That's the point here, dude. If you do like watching skateboarding, we upload 3 videos on Progress Daily channel, 2 videos on this channel, so links in description, but 5 videos a week. If you watch skateboard content, you will be satisfied, because you'll just be like, you know, by Friday, you got an hour worth of footage to watch. Thank you for adding a lot of joy and fun to my life. This interaction has been an incredible feature, it's probably not the right word, of my skateboarding career that I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. It's amazing, and I'm so glad that we have this community, and whatever, I'm babbling. I'll see you next time. Take care, progress daily, and keep killing it.